Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Monday, March 7th, 2022 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I have the responsibility to listen to my inner voice. And today I want to dig into Venus and Mars in Aquarius a little bit before we look at today's Monday's astro, because this is what we're going to be working with. I just realized that I forgot to look at the week ahead. So we're going to start actually very brief week ahead overview. Sorry, my nose is totally tickling. And it's very distracting. We're going to have Mercury this week, moving out of Aquarius, shifting into Pisces. That's going to be Wednesday afternoon, evening. Before that, between the moon in Gemini and all of this Aquarius energy, the energy is going to be electric. We're literally having an electrical storm right now. Between all the Aquarius, between the Gemini, the mental monkeys are going to be talking, which is why we want to make sure that we still hold space for that inner voice. This is a call for grounding. This is a call to know when and how to let your thoughts pass like clouds rather than... I'm a Gemini rising, and sometimes the way life or even thoughts hit me is like I'm jumping vine to vine to vine, kind of like Tarzan. So we don't need to do that with this energy. So important to be aware of that. Mercury into Pisces definitely will take a more daydreamy quality, but mindfulness is still really important with that. So that's Wednesday. And another big thing for this week ahead that feels important. Next Sunday, the 13th, we're going to have Sun and Neptune conjunct. So that is definitely powerful energy. Master One-Feather, if you were familiar with him, always said that is Make-A-Wish energy. So those are the most major things this week. Okay, let's dig into Venus and Mars in Aquarius. Aquarius, it's interesting because Venus and Mars were conjunct at 0 degrees, which I did that right up. A lot of great responses for that. But 0 degree energy is one of transformation. I have somebody trying to distract me in the background. Let me do this. 0 degrees is one of transformation. And I really think that this, I said it in the last scope. Again, it feels like it's a new eon. It's opening an opportunity for different relating, different connections. And I think that starts now. You know, when it comes to Venus and Mars, there's a lot of write-ups about like passion and romance and all of that. But it's interesting because that's not the Aquarius vibe so much. The Aquarius vibe is more of like community, friendship. How are we helping each other? How are we serving? And so in this energy, that's how I think Venus and Mars, the yin and the yang, are being called to relate with each other, whether it's within yourself or out in the world. How can we relate as friends? How can we relate knowing that we each have pieces of the pie that make the whole, pieces of the information that can bring everything together, so to speak. So keeping that in mind. Now, it's also really interesting because I really like to focus on the vibes when it comes to Aquarius. I feel like Aquarius energy is where we tune into our inner, like, antenna. That's what an antenna is. And so Venus, I think, is very good at, like, tuning into the vibes. So listening to that, listening to the yin within ourselves, like, oh, vibe check, this does not resonate. But it's time that Mars recognizes and utilizes this energy as well. Because Mars is where we take action. Mars is more impulsive. Mars doesn't necessarily always check in with the Venus energy. So really taking the time to feel the vibes, do the vibe check in with yourself. Aquarius actually has quite psychic energy. When it slows down and gets outside of the brain enough to utilize it. This is also a beautiful transit, both Venus and Mars in Aquarius, to show up and be of service. Now recognize that you are of service when you value who you are, Venus and Aquarius, right? Take value in who you are, and then align your actions with that. So we have opportunity to benefit the world in so many ways in and through this transit. Venus will be moving through for the next month till I believe it's like April 5th, a shift into Pisces. Mars will be right behind, but starting to fall behind a little bit, taking its time to really learn this energy, learn this vibe. I think it's like April 14th-ish that Mars will be moving into Pisces. So they'll really be cat and mousing each other, really hanging out together. But again, this is more about friendship. And so I would say, with so many things, even the romance in your life right now, let friendship be the draw. And then let's see what Pisces does when that Pisces energy moves in. Is there anything else I feel like saying about this energy right now? I'm doubling down on the message. I did this in the write-up, but it feels like it needs a double down. Know your worth. Aquarius energy can sometimes feel like the outcast, sometimes feel like the outsider, sometimes feel like it doesn't belong, like I'm an alien on this planet. Venus in Aquarius reminds us we're exactly where we're meant to be, and who we are has so much value and has so much worth. And so it's the Mars job in this is to like stand strong in that. And again, take action in that. So check where you are still hiding your light, holding back, due to that feeling of like, hey, I don't know if I belong here. I don't know if I'm wanted here. I promise you that you are, and it is important that you are here. So let's dig into today's astro. We have the moon moving through Taurus. Chances are you felt some of that tired, wired energy with Venus, Mars, Saturn, and Aquarius all hanging out in Aquarius. Did I say Mercury? I don't know. I might have said Aquarius and Aquarius. Mercury in Aquarius. I have a friend who was like, I feel like such an airhead. Yes. There's a lot of this air energy, and it's electrical and it's mental. With all of this, the grounding is important, and we're very stimulated by this energy. Just be aware of that, especially these next few days as Mercury finishes up and the moon moves into Gemini. But for now, moon in Taurus hopefully is a grounding force, and with the sun in Pisces can bring the lazy cat. So you may find yourself shifting back and forth between the energies. The moon is making the connections through the day, connection to Jupiter and the sun, both in Pisces. So again, lazy catting. We may actually, both of those connections are in the morning. So you may not necessarily have that get up and go in the morning. Mars is still at 0 degrees as well. It will be moving to 1 degree, but if you have a slow morning, just recognize it might take a little time to get moving, and that is okay. And if it is taking time to get moving, check your vibes. What vibes, like, jazz you up? Moon square Saturn energy. This feels like vision. And this is part of Venus and Mars in Aquarius as well. What is your vision? What is your vision for your yin energy? How are you being called to innovate it? What is your vision for your yang energy? How are you being called to innovate this? So as the moon connects into Saturn, again, we may be finding that there's little shifts that we're being called to make at this time. Don't be afraid to make the shift. Sometimes we're like, I've been on this path and it feels like it's moving. It's okay to make those changes, and that's what I'm feeling. You may have some resistance to that, but I'm really feeling, especially if you're somebody who's like, I feel I have this calling to make these shifts, these changes, I'm really feeling like, do it. Let yourself be guided in and through that. Listen to your inner voice. Finally, we end up Moon and Neptune in the evening. Again, more lazy catting. Moon in Taurus, Neptune in Pisces, and divine inner voice energy. Take the time, ground in, listen. What is Spirit trying to talk to you? Inner voice card was at the top and helped influence. Inner voice card and also guidance. We are being guided. Listen to these energies. Where are you being called to go and move? I do have the totality card, Be Here Now. This feels in relationship to all the mental energy. Check and see, where is your mental energy going? Is it focused on the future? Okay, that makes sense because of what's happening in the world, what's been happening in the world. and, you know, all the Aquarius energy. Aquarius can be very future related. However, don't neglect the now. And also check, like, how much of the past are you trying to bring with you, and where can you let some of that go? Because again, this can be a quantum leap. This can be a major shift if you give it that opportunity. I have the fighting card. This feels like not speed racer, but mind racer, more so than fighting. While there could be some fighting energy, it may even just be in your mental energy. This feels like your mind just like Tarzaning, like I said. So check in with that and see again, how can you ground yourself? How can you be here now in this moment? So that's it for today. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and honor your values. Namaste.